Okay, hi brothers and sisters. We're just going to do a quick video, and I wanted to give you a quick update. I think I'm going to be sending my computer back. I don't like it. It's doing some things I don't think it should be doing. So I'm sending it back, which is going to leave me back onto this old one. And if I don't do wisdom, it'll because I just don't think I can get through a video that long using this, because you know, every time I go to pull a tab up, it's so long pulling it up and all that. But I may. I mean, if I have to wait that long to get a new one again, I may just fall back on this, and I apologize beforehand if I have to do that. But I was just sitting here this morning, and I was looking at some words, and I couldn't help but finally understand what, you know, I kept hitting this word. Oh, gee, it must have been 6 months ago, maybe 8 months ago. And it was the word arrival, and I'm like, and then they kept saying there's planets showing up out there. They claim there's 2 already in a steady orbit out there. And I had a dream years ago of a planet being overhead in a steady orbit, and but it was a planet that we could clearly see from where we are. Now, what that caused me to realize, because we've been looking at the cloud, right, the cloud of witnesses in the last video, and Ephraim being a foolish child and not appearing at the opening of the womb when the way into life had been presented, right? And so it all began to connect in my tiny little mind, and it was this verse that we looked at, verse 13 of Hosea 13 we had looked at. So we'll just look at this to connect it to what we're about to say about the cloud of witnesses. The pangs of childbirth come for her, but she is an unwise daughter, for at the right time she does not present herself at the opening of the womb. Now, we had read a slightly different rendering, and I don't think it'll give it here on this computer so quick as it did on the new one. So, did I write it down? I did. I don't have the book with me, I don't think. Darn. But I had written it down. It said Ephraim was a stupid child and did not appear at the opening when the way of life had opened up before her. Failed to present herself at that time, right? Is what that rendering had said. And if I think to, I'll put that rendering down below this video when I post it. But this is, she does not, and it's got him. Well, Ephraim, we've identified, Ephraim was another name for Israel, which was the north kingdom, which was where your firstborn daughter comes from. That's where she comes from. She's Israel herself, the firstborn daughter. That's why it was called the woman's seed. She. So, what does it say? The pangs of childbirth come for her, but she is an unwise daughter, for at the right time, at that time, when they come in, she does not present herself at the opening of the womb. But I shall ransom them from the power of Sheol, the womb of Sheol. What is that if that is not speaking of the womb of Sheol opening up for the firstborn daughter? And she says, Ephraim is the firstborn of my womb. She does not say a son. She says the daughter is. And Ephraim is the daughter, Israel herself. I shall ransom them from the power of Sheol. I shall redeem them from death. Oh, death, where are your plagues? Oh, there we got the plagues of Egypt. So you see, she's coming up out of the land of Egypt. You see what she's doing, which we have identified earth as being a land of idolatry, where all the women, all the men are told to bow down at the feet of a male idol. Yeah, and it is a male idol. I shall redeem them from death. O death, where are your plagues? O Sheol, where is your sting? Compassion is hidden from my eyes. Why is compassion hidden from her eyes? Because wisdom says, when I called, you couldn't be bothered to respond to me. The thing is that the daughter is appearing at the opening of the womb. I'm representative of that cloud of witnesses, all right, that is appearing at the opening of life here. Because we have been able to part the waters of admixture of doctrine, as that wine that sits on the table, also allegorical to the Red Sea. She says, my pathways were covered over by this admixture. You failed to see my pathway into life. And yet the travailing woman says in Isaiah 42, now will I go forth. I will lead you in pathways that you have not known. I'm going to part the admixture of doctrine as the living word of God was to do, identified as the cornerstone rejected before the foundation of the world, which was found at the women's mouth, the wise women's mouth in the nation of Israel, that the men rejected in covenant. Which also then takes us to peace, peace, when they shall say peace, 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 only comes when you are equal under the law. And you say, well, why do you women want your rights under the law? That's what's causing the iniquity in the land. You think you can take half the population's rights out from under the law and there's going to be peace in the land. There will never be peace in the land. Which is also leads us to the apostate, as they call it. The apostasy that must happen. That word apostasy in the New Testament that lines us up, I think it's the verse in 1 Thessalonians, right? The falling away, right? The tribulation or whatever will not come until the great falling. The falling away is the witnesses asking for separation, divorcement, a bill of divorcement, which is where that word will directly lead you to. And this is the reason why. Because this is the covenant to be disannulled that you find in Isaiah 28. And with the womb of Sheol have we hid ourselves under a refuge of lies. You've hid yourself under the idol of a man is what you've done. So now Ephraim must present her case. Israel must present her case. So then we see the daughter of woman, not the son of man, with her virgins taken to the Ancient of Days. Yeah. Now, I don't know that you'll see that or bear witness to that, but it is them that parts the admixture, parts the cloud, which takes us to the verse in Revelation 6. All right. To separate oneself, depart from this lying covenant. They're asking for a bill of divorce from fallen Adam, who has subjected them to a religious lie and doctrine which puts them less and down at the feet of an idol. Right? This is what it is. This is the ancient that comes in. And they had the cloud of witnesses parts the heavens. And when that happens, when they finally stand up from the feet of that idol in religious life fed to them in the house of dung, house of Baal, dung god, your dung god, another name for your husband who wants you bowed at his feet, calling him Lord. Yeah. And these witches, I think they're witches in the second heaven, but they use the mouth of the women in earth to empower it, to get you to bow down at the feet of that idol to empower him. Yeah, the king of Babylon in second heaven. So there is witchcraft going on, but it's behind the scenes. You don't know you're being used, which is kind of there in some of the shows. And that's what's actually empowering the religious lie and idol to speak and stand in the land. You actually are the ones empowering it. The harlot spirit is empowering it. You're the real, true adversaries to truth in the land, because you're empowering the idol of a man to stand. So Revelation 6:14, the heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up. It also has the idea of finally understanding the little book. It's also got the idea of her title deed is there rolled up in that. It is all of it. The heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was removed from its place. This is the parting of the heavens, and it's by that cloud of witnesses. That's what it is. And so I think they tell us that, like I said, they tell us that there's 2 planets at least that's in a stable orbit out there. We can't see it. Why? Why can't we see it? Because the cloud of lying witnesses in the earth has created a cloud cover between us and the second heaven or third heaven, in which the truthful throne stands and is set. Only when this cloud of witnesses, identified as the daughters of Israel, daughters of Zion, the new branch, Zion means a new branch, can pick themselves up from the feet of that male idol, husband as Lord and God, does the heavens scroll back and part, right? The clouds part, and the Red Sea departs, the admixture of doctrine, and Ephraim is then able to present her case. You see? That's what it is. So let's look at the word depart, and the heavens departed, 673, right quick. To separate, to part asunder. There's your Red Sea. You see? You see? It's all there. It's only the ignorant and the hard. I also drew another conclusion with this. I may be wrong. So it means to rend apart, reflexively to separate and to depart. So she brings out the holy ones, right? And from there she does give her back her dominion and her power. And then they part with her great hosts of heaven. She rides back and takes back her vineyard, is what it looks like. That's it to some degree, right? We know Joshua is part of that. We do. So where am I going? The arrival. So that's the arrival. Only if we can part the way, make straight a highway for our God. And we get that, I believe, in Isaiah 42. Isaiah 43, it says, call forth your witnesses, so they may testify, they may speak, and let the others say, this is truth. So she brings forth her complaint, she brings forth her testimony. The witnesses agree and says, this is truth. Those in the earth will also say it. Okay, so entrance, a coming in, entering in. This is your Hebrew word for arrival. 3996, mabo, or mabu, M-A-B-O. Entrance, a coming in, a entering. Place of its setting, the west, a coming in. So that also has to do also with the turning of the degrees back, right? So the earth will turn back. It's like the baby has to reposition to be birthed out into the heavens, right? So it's all in context of all of that allegory. And like I said, God had to begin to speak to us in animalistic terminology. The covenants are identified in animalistic terminology because of the lower mind, right? God was saying to us, you've become animals in the way that you what you believe in, especially the harlot spirit in the land, believing that man is her head and her husband. You want to play as harlot. You won't stand up for your own tabernacle. You won't stand up for your own temple. You won't stand up for me. Which is why Ephraim must present herself when the way of life finally opens up for her. That's the parting of the Red Sea. And you come out of the land of idolatry. And that's the video. So thanks for watching. I hope the Lord blesses you with an abundance of truth, and I hope you all have a lovely day. And thanks for watching again.